So how do you write a script for a short film? For me, I have been lucky enough to be keeping a journal for a long time now, maybe 5 years. I think how I started making short films is I used my diary or my journal to tell stories. That's very well, that's okay, but I mean, that story is not necessarily going to be a good short film. If we look at my most recent film, After Work, the story is based on a true story because it happened to me in Edinburgh.
Why are you looking at me? Creep! Creep! Pervert!
And so this was very easy to take to my journal and say, this was crazy, wow, I can't believe this happened. And then maybe 6 months later I go, that could actually be a movie. So this is one way of doing the idea conception. But now you have this idea and you have a blank page. What you need to do, you don't need to do it, but what I suggest is make a skeleton. So if you can write a few lines at the top of the page that say, bartender walks home from work, bartender runs into drunken couple have an accident, and the bartender saves them. If you can see, okay, this makes sense, there's actually some tension here where he's seeing some strangers and then they have an accident and then he says, I'm gonna save the day. If you can look at that and you can go, okay, that is the film, then you have a script. Because now you have a skeleton, you can drag all of that down onto many different pages and just write. You can go, what did it look like when he saw them? What did they say when he saw them? How did he save them? You just want to drag out all of those details. Some people say when you make a short film that you shouldn't be poetic, it shouldn't be prosaic, it should just be blunt, because what you're eventually going to be doing is converting this piece of paper into ideas that are shared among many different department heads, like the editor, the cinematographer, the producer, the actors. It needs to be like, this is the thing in its most simple form. But when I write a short film, I always throw in a bit of descriptive writing, creative writing, because I love adjectives. And so it's up to you if you want to, bring the people who are going to read the script into the world, or you want to tell them the simplest story. Now, there's a couple of different ways to do it. The first movie that I really wrote and that was really good because it got accepted into a film festival was this movie called Diomed, and I watched the masterclass myself, Werner Herzog, as I said before. And what he suggested, and I'm just stealing his ideas now, but it's a good idea, is if you play music for 3 hours, Beethoven's Ninth, have it on repeat for 3 hours, and you say to yourself, I'm gonna write a movie now, then in 3 hours time you will have a movie. So that's a pretty cool exercise that you could do as well. But for me, it's about going out into the world and seeing simple things that could be stories on film or video.